Hello and welcome to Kindred Academy, the show that deals with all things Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. I'm Peter.
And I'm Carlos, and on today's lesson, Clan Toreador.
So Clan Toreador are often known as the artists or the degenerates, and they are the more sensual of the Camarilla clans. They're also the vampires that are most associated with the vampire as a dark seducer of others and an object of kind of dangerous desire.
Yeah, and they are also seen, because of their history, as the artists and those that will bring the beauty and the culture to Kindred society. So basically, the history of the Toreador starts, well, they were already prominent in the Minoic civilization of Greece. And during the early days of structured Kindred society, the Toreador actually did not take sides during the whole Carthage and Rome business. Not until it was very evident that Carthage would fall, according to the lore, that they would side with the Ventru, fleeing Carthage and bringing back stories of debauchery and disaster that made the Ventru take the decision of razing the city completely. Now, throughout the medieval period in Europe, you would have the courts of love, which were most of what is France and a lot of Western Europe, and they were really powerful. They were a political powerhouse in those areas. Now, that translates to the creation of the Camarilla. The Toreador are one of the most ardent and fervent proponents of the creation of the sect, and together with the Ventru and the Malkavian, they were pushing it forwards. The Bruja jumped along together with the rest. But the Toreador have been at the heart of it, trying to build it, and then after its inception, trying to keep it there. The Toreador has always had this sort of like high-ish status inside Kindred society, especially the Camarilla. But they have had especially prominent optics in time. One of them being in the Renaissance, of course. They come from this very high in the Middle Ages where, well, pretty much church is always funding art, and then go to the Renaissance in which art is everywhere and is at the forefront of the new way of thinking. Another time is the Industrial Revolution, which finds leisure time for the first time for the masses. So that allows a lot of people to create new forms of art. In modern nights, the Toreador had made, some say the sacrifice, others the right call of aligning themselves with other clans to bring them into the Camarilla. So modern nights are very tumultuous according to the lore in V5, and the Camarilla has lost some clans, but Victoria Ash secured the allegiance of the Banu Hakim through the Vermilion wedding, keeping the Camarilla strong.
So the Toreador have many strengths as a clan, and the gifts of the blood come through their disciplines, and the most sort of signature discipline that they have is that of presence, which is the power to influence the emotions of others, and it's this that allows them to bring people to their side. It allows them to seduce people, to influence their emotions. And also, when they have got their talons into a lover or a source of blood, to keep them there and to keep them coming back for more.
Yeah, another of the prominent powers of the Toreador is that of Auspex. And unlike other clans, they would use it not only to gain an insight and to be able to perceive the world in a different way, but this time, this is the artist's eye. They are looking at the individual cracks and crevices of each sculpture or the brush strokes of a painting. But also, they have this insight through time or with time. It is said that the founder of the clan at some point, a beautiful sculptress and paintress, she painted a mural that showed the past, the present, and the future of the Kindred society.
So Toreador are also known for their preternatural grace and quickness, and that is manifested through the discipline of celerity, which also ties in to an amalgam power that only the Toreador have, that Carlos will tell you about now.
So Unerring Aim is one of those amalgam powers that you would get a celerity power, but only if you have Auspex. In this particular case. And it allows the Toreador to perceive the world differently, again, through time, by basically sort of slowing their perception of time so they can react much faster than others, making their aim absolutely deadly.
So as well as gifts of the blood, the Toreador also have a clan bane. And for them, this is also tied into their connection to beauty. So for a Toreador, to be somewhere that is not beautiful is actively uncomfortable for them. And when they're in spaces like that, it's harder for them to use their supernatural disciplines. We had a discussion about this in terms of a rules call. It's very clear that when you're making any kind of discipline roll that involves activating a discipline, that bane would apply. But in our discussions, we talked about it not applying to powers that add dice to pools for skill checks. So what I'm talking about here, if that's not clear, is things like heightened senses for Auspex or awe for presence.
Yeah, so we're just keeping it in our interpretation, keeping it just to those roles that are either to activate the power or as part of a contested role to keep the power active. So a couple of ideas, since now that we've discussed what the Toreador Bane is and their abilities and sort of their stereotypes, a couple of ideas that we have for character concepts are now to follow. One, using the character approaches that we discussed on our previous video, character creation, we're going to use the Kindred First approach. And the Kindred First approach that this character will have is basically built around their clan bane. But unlike the clan bane description of aesthetic beauty, this is going to be someone who sees and perceives the world or the beauty in the world through smell. And this is someone who would either because of childhood memories that are pleasant or because of the way the embrace took place, for whatever reason, earthy smells, floral smells, natural smells would be very appealing. They would have either incense in their house or potpourri or flower arrangement. They would try to have a greenhouse. They would always try to look at that balance. They would enjoy the smell of rain itself, freshly cut grass, those kind of things. And being in the concrete and steel and glass of downtown might be actually troubling, might be putting them off a little bit.
Yeah, one of the great things I think about their clan bane is it shapes the way your character perceives the world and also the things that your character does. You know, a character like that, particularly as they get older, will be quite restricted in where they can go and where they want to go. So the other concept that I want to talk about was a mortal first. And this is one really where you can effectively play any character that you want that is not a natural fit for the Toreador. So you choose what skill sets and abilities and things that you want and what life you've had, and then you slap on the 4-point merit of being super beautiful on top. So this is a situation where you're probably embraced for your beauty but nothing else. It may be in the early days there was a sort of whirlwind romance between your character and your sire, but of course once the honeymoon period ends and your character does something like, I don't know, opens their mouth and expresses an opinion, then things are going to sour very quickly. Also, potentially amongst kind of Toreador elders, you become the equivalent of a very nice table lamp, you know, which is nice to regard, but essentially ignored after that.
Yeah, and that immediately builds what your character is. You can have the freedom you want, still be a Toreador, but have a completely different set of skills and abilities. But it tell people a lot about your sire. Someone who would go to the lengths of embracing someone just to preserve their physical beauty.
So we've obviously mentioned a couple of examples here, and we would always encourage you to check out the core book for further examples of Toreador characters. But we suspect you might have a few of your own.
And that's this week's homework. So leave in your comments below any concepts that you would like to play or have played in the past for the Toreador characters. But especially, let us know what would your character or the concept you're proposing find beautiful. What would they like? What would be their definition of a pleasing environment according to the aesthetics of the clan? And as always, make sure to like and subscribe, hit that bell notification, and we will see you on the next lesson. Bye.
Bye. You should have some Jaffa cookie.
I want a Jaffa
things.
cookie. Can I have a Jaffa cookie?
Yeah, you can. I'm going to say yes. I'm sure.
I'm getting the Jaffa cookie.
Chocolate or something tucked away.